Welcome to the Spirit Room. This podcast is a gathering place for people in search of personal growth and life's higher meaning. I'm your host, Mike Consul. I also invite you to spend time on the Spirit Room website, where you'll find headlines about religion, spirituality, psychology, and the New Age movement. Just go to thespiritroom.org. One of the most discouraging things in the air these days is the number of people who are conspiracy theorists. People who believe there are conspiracies all around us. I've got friends who believe 9/11 was an inside job, who believe that the contrails that you see in the sky being produced by jets are actually chemtrails, as in chemical trails, and that we are being poisoned by chemicals by who knows who. That's never really very clear. And that the 1% of the richest people in the United States and the world are trying to either kill us or enslave us, basically take every resource we have away from us. I've had a lot of spirited debates with my friends about this. I've got a friend who says, some things are true whether you believe them or not. To which my rejoinder is, and some things are not true whether you believe them or not. And of course I do believe in conspiracies. There's conspiracies to defraud people every day. 9/11 was a conspiracy. It was a conspiracy between 20 plus Islamic extremists turned hijackers. What I don't believe is that there's a conspiracy that Dick Cheney and George W. Bush had people fly those planes into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. Some people say it wasn't even a plane that hit the Pentagon, it was a missile, never mind the thousands of people on the streets all around the Pentagon that morning who saw a jet hit the Pentagon. The idea that there was this mass conspiracy with all the people who would have had to have been involved and nobody has ever revealed anything. That's the kind of conspiracy I don't believe in. I don't believe that such conspiracies exist because people cannot keep their mouths shut. And what we have now is a very paranoid society where people talk about the they. They don't want us to know this, and they want us to do that, and they are trying to take this or that away from us. The proverbial they. Well, who is they? When you stop a person and say, who is they? Who are you talking about when you say they? It's amazing how often you don't actually get an answer to that question. The reason being that the use of the pronoun they allows people to go ahead and tell these wondrous tales of conspiracy and death-defying secret societies and so on, without having to actually account for who the protagonists are. So why do we do this? Why do we have so many conspiracy theories and so many conspiracy theorists? Well, I've got a theory about that, and that is that most people live pretty boring lives, relatively boring lives at least, and they like to dramatize their lives. Life becomes more exciting when there's somebody out to get you. Life takes on more color and excitement when it's the bad guys versus the good guys. And of course the conspiracy theorists are always the good guys who are looking out for the rest of the population and trying to fend off the evildoers that are coming after us, whether it's that 1% of the richest people or a government conspiracy to try to sublimate us. And again, I'm not saying conspiracies don't exist. I mean, Mexican drug cartels and South American drug cartels are conspiracies. Italian mafia families are conspiracies. And these are conspiracies that are well known to us. But notice that conspiracy theorists don't talk about the conspiracies we know of, the conspiracies that we know exist and that become revealed and even busted by law enforcement authorities and jailed. They talk about conspiracies that we have no way of proving. They usually involve government or some type of secret society, or a political party or some group of immigrants that have come to our shores. If we don't like something, we ascribe conspiracy status to it. Now we even have an entire industry of purveyors of fake news, people literally making things up, creating propaganda to try to get people to believe in something that isn't true. This is a sickness within our society, and it all stems from this us versus them or this we versus they mentality that might make some people's lives a little bit more exciting, but it is corrosive to our social and political systems. Anytime we embrace disruption and dysfunction rather than harmony, we are setting the groundwork for dystopia. There is no they. If there was a they, it would be getting identified. But to simply say they over and over again while posing conspiracy theories makes it evident that they is just the pronoun being used as a delivery system for something dramatic and oftentimes nonsensical. And from a metaphysical standpoint, they implies duality, that we are separated, that we are separate beings. And if we're going to speak on that level, they does not really have a place. They doesn't exist in reality. Consistent with many religious texts, science has shown, has demonstrated, physicists have demonstrated that all is one. That there is a fundamental interconnectedness between all things, and that all of creation is made of the same building blocks, the same energy field. This is one of the ways that science lends credence to the belief in a supreme being. There is no they, and there is no advantage to fabricating conspiracies and conspiracy theories. Keep it on the up and up. Identify wrongdoing where it really exists and where you see it. And stay away from the propaganda, all the conspiracy talk. Like I said earlier, it's corrosive to our society, and it flies in the face of what is good and spiritual about us all. That's all for this episode. May we all march to the beat of a little different drummer.